Well, the shocking events that unfolded on Capitol Hill yesterday started out peacefully before quickly descending into chaos. But as Colby Shatterfield from our affiliate WUSA reports, not all supporters of President Trump who were outside of the Capitol building agreed with the security breaches.
Clouds of smoke and clashes with police. Outside the United States Capitol, pro-Trump rioters attempted a second time to seize the seat of government, scaling the building and breaking through doors.
There's not enough cops here to handle us, and that's troubling.
Trouble that Isaiah Kuzinga says spiraled out of control and forced him to take a step back from fellow Trump supporters.
Trying to egg everybody on. And those are the people that we do not need with us, because they make me look bad. Because with them going up, they're just destroying everything that we're trying to do. We're trying to show everybody that we're compassionate about America right now. Because actually, everyone that's leaving right now, they're not supporting this. Because this is like the opposite of what we wanted.
What Felice Pete says she wanted was fair votes, coming from North Carolina to advocate for that.
We feel that the election needed to be audit and fair and true, and all legal votes count. I mean, if we lost, then we lost, but we can't lose with irregularities.
Her concerns leading her to bring her 9-year-old son with her to the nation's capital, so he too could see the opposition to the election firsthand.
He's witnessing history today, that the people stood up. And at every turning of America, people had to stand up.
To do what? Kuzinga says he's not even sure.
They want to tear this whole entire building down, but if you tear it down, what's the next step? That's like the main thing that I want to ask everybody. They don't know what the next step is.
So Christine Palumbo joins me now on the phone. She is a supporter of President Trump. She attended a peaceful rally near the riots at the Capitol building. And Christine, I want to thank you for joining us right now. You know, many viewers watched what happened at the Capitol building in horror. You were not near the Capitol building, but you did go to the Capitol, D.C., to participate in what you expected would be peaceful protest, peaceful demonstrations. Just give me a sense of just how your day unfolded. And did you realize that things were starting to take a turn?
Sure. So thank you for having me on. I really appreciate just giving my view as I was actually live at the event and, you know, wanted to tell what actually happened. So we did start off the day with a group of amazing patriots that left Hazlet, New Jersey together. We went into Washington, D.C. by 5 a.m. It was a peaceful morning. We walked to the monument. I can't even tell you how many thousands of diverse patriots were there, you know, joining and getting to know each other. There was nothing that was violent or rioting. It was a group of U.S. patriots wanting a fair election and there to support our president. We were warned by many people. Antifa was in the crowd. Watch out, they're disguised as Trump supporters. And when I tell you strangers came together to watch each other's backs, that's what that was. It was peaceful. We were at the monument area watching the speakers, Rudy Giuliani, waiting for President Trump. It opened up in prayer and chant for the USA. There was nothing anti-USA. There was nothing hateful. About 1:45, towards the end of President Trump's speech, we walked over to the Capitol. Me and a couple of the people that went down together were front lines at the Capitol with military, veterans who were right there at the barricades. There was no rioting. There was no pushing. There was Chinese immigrants chanting, informing about the Communist Party and the Communist Party. It's propaganda. There was no patriots storming the Capitol while we were there. They removed the gate. They were waving flags. You know, there was nothing to say there was violence. We did get word at some point.
So,
you know,
Christine, clearly at some point, though, things took a turn. I don't know if at that point you'd already left the Capitol, but could you sense that, you know, that the crowd was starting to get a little out of control while you were there?
Sure. So we were there, and we did get tear gas. However, there was Antifa in the crowd. You know, I believe they were harassing police. as we saw on some other videos from people who were there, patriots that support Trump did, try to stop these children who were misbehaving, basically, and, that broke up. We did get word about close to 3 p.m. Antifa was arriving, A soldier was very kind. 3 of us got separated from the group. He's like, you 3 women, please stay together. Antifa likes to pick on women who are not within a group. We did get warnings.
So listen, let me ask you, Christine, though. Let me ask you, when we saw the video of people, illegally entering the Capitol building, breaking windows, we're not seeing Antifa. We're seeing people who are Trump supporters. And as I understand it, your whole purpose was to peacefully protest, which is within your right, which you should and did do. In regards to agitators in the crowd, I'm not saying that there weren't any, but when we look at what happened inside the Capitol building, it's not Antifa. We saw Trump supporters there.
I agree, and I do see. We did watch the videos on the bus. We witnessed, some of those people in the crowd who, weren't really participating in what we were doing there. I can't sit there and confirm I knew every single person. Yes, sir, Antifa. We were warned. I mean, nothing broke out until about 3 o'clock when we heard, everybody was leaving. I mean, if they were Trump supporters, again, they could be bad seeds. However, nothing should be taken away from the millions of people that possibly, I believe there was 1 million people there. It was amazing. And we were warned by many people, please be careful. It's starting to happen. A busload of Antifa has arrived. So I don't know. Do you believe a soldier who's on the ground who is protecting people who are leaving, or do we twist everything from what the media is telling us? I have videos of
actually, I do want to ask you about your interaction with law enforcement. It sounds like it was pretty pleasant. I mean, how were you greeted as you walked towards the Capitol building in terms of law enforcement?
There was law enforcement present. Everyone was very relaxed. I mean, when I say we walked from the monument to the Capitol, everybody, strangers, were, taking pictures together, just talking about the current events. There was nothing, no one was agitated. I mean, when I say a diverse group, there was a diverse group of thousands of strangers, just joining in a peaceful walk to the Capitol. No police had ever had to get involved with anyone in the crowd.
You attended the rally where the president spoke, Rudy Giuliani spoke, Donald Trump Jr. spoke. Rudy Giuliani talked about trial by combat. The president's son, essentially suggested that, those lawmakers who did not hold up this constitutionally mandated process of verifying the electoral votes, that those lawmakers, should be targeted. Do you think that what you heard, that what some of the people heard during those speeches could have had an impact on the mood of the crowd as they walked towards the Capitol building?
I mean, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Rudy Giuliani, Don Jr., they were all on about an hour before President Trump even came on. And after they were off the stage, it was peaceful. Nobody was agitated. Everybody was just discussing how can this happen to the United States of America. We only want a fair election. There's many of us who do not believe this is fair. There's many of us who read those affidavits. We're digging a little deeper, and we do not believe it fair. And, if he wins, if Biden does get in, I do not believe you'll see any violence from any patriot. But until then, we all want to fight for our voices to be heard. No one that was there, when I was there for about 12 hours, was violent, and it's just completely misconstrued. Nobody was agitated. Those speeches were meant to empower, not to cause any sort of violence.
I gotta say, Christine, the images, I think, sort of speak for themselves. It was clear that there were many, many peaceful demonstrators there, but I don't think that the violence that we saw, that lawmakers cowering, being rushed out of the building, is being misconstrued. It happened. It's not all that happened there. And clearly, you are a representative of a supporter of President Trump who did not participate in the violence, and whether or not there were agitators in the crowd. Hopefully all of that will be investigated. But certainly what we saw yesterday was rightfully disturbing to many people. And as I gather from you too, it was some pretty disturbing stuff. Christina, I have to let you go. I thank you for, sharing with us, because I know it's not so easy, particularly at this point when let's say, emotions are running high over what happened yesterday. Christine Palumbo, thank you.
It's also facts, and I hope that, more people look past of what they actually see on the media and see that for the 13 hours, it was peaceful. And when warnings of Antifa were arriving for violence, that, we do look into that a little bit further.
All right. Thank you, Christina.
You're welcome. Thank you.